counts. What counts is devotion. Devotion to what you understand to be what is right and best. So, in particular, I guess we're thinking of values, that which is fundamental to you. What do you value? And you can find out what you value by simply saying to someone, if God exists, if he did exist, or if he does exist for you, whichever, tell me what his values are. And of course it might be her values. You know, may see God as Divine Mother or, female anyway. I'll stick with male because, well, I guess I'm following a biblical notion, understanding of God as Father. Okay? But you may not be, that's not the point. What is the point? Is what are the values of such divine personage, such a divine person? And of course you probably have that, well, they're honest and kind, truthful and creative, loving, forgiving, wise, full of wisdom, understanding, they have great knowledge of all. You may have an omni-God, but it's the features of the omniscience that we're looking at for value, not the theology. So you might have that they're all-powerful and all-present everywhere, all-knowing, and it might not be the all, it may just be majorly so. Okay? And as you carry on with the value features of this divine person, you probably have that they're full of peace and hope and joy, loving kindness, creativity, goodness, all those things. Now, that is what you value. Because, you basically presented a list of the things that you think are right and good. That which you value, you see. That is, they are the values of your God. There's no theology about this. It's simply listing the values that you hold to be of value. They just are to you. And they are presumably because of your experience in the world and how you see it, how you view those experiences. And from it you determine that, honesty and integrity and goodness and kindness and creativity and ability and understanding and insight and joy, peace, hope and so on, compassion are all part of what you truly value. And therefore, that is what you should focus on. And the personification of that is your God. A vision, if you like, a view of a person of all the qualities you truly value. Now that is a person you can love because they have your values that you hold dear. They're not necessarily values that are easily expressed in your life, but they're certainly what you value. So, what we're saying in worship is that you're focusing on your God. And if you do that and you live accordingly, well, your view of God may well adjust to your ongoing experience. But that ongoing experience will be in relation to what you hold dear. So you may refine, restructure, review your understanding of God, your God, as you walk closer with Him. I say Him, but I'm not wanting to be sexist here. It's just, there isn't a neutral pronoun that doesn't sound like we're talking about an it. That's not what we mean. So I say Him. You may say her, whatever you like. And perhaps which may even adjust through time or in certain circumstances. So it's theology free. I'm not going into why things are as they are. I'm not prophesying some future, except to say, if you do focus on all that you hold to be good, you will move towards the good. You will increase greatly your understanding, your appreciation, and the manifestation of that good in your life. In other words, you will increase in joy and peace and hope and love and kindness, grace and forgiveness, creativity, loveliness, beauty, honesty, integrity, faithfulness. You will shine like the morning sunlight. You will be an absolute light, an absolute blessing to all of creation. It will include understanding and wisdom, but it won't be of man. It will be of God, your God. And it does seem the case that your view of God will be incredibly close to what others' view of God is, as they do likewise. In other words, see you are worshipping what is fundamentally good. I suppose I'm saying that all life has needs, not just all people, and that those basic needs are common to all. Now, at the very basic level of life, the needs are for survival, for food, as we understand the forms of life we know, oxygen, breathing, food, space, some sort of role in reproduction, having children, family. And perhaps because of that, more sophisticated life has a need of company, a partner, a mate, someone close, a physical person close to them. That seems to be fairly basic. It may be that as you advance, you simply need a spiritual being close to you. But in the sort of more basic levels, we need a partner, we need a family, we need fellowship, friends. And by that we mean physically so, other beings, much like ourselves in needs. So life moves through stages, you could say. You might have a theology that says, it's reincarnation from the lowest form of life to the highest form imaginable and beyond, God himself. You may have a theology that it's people that count. Or you may have a theology that's in between, it's creatures. People are a particular group of such, but it's any sentient being that counts, You may have a much wider one which says, all plants and so on are life forms and they count too, and they have their life and basic needs and being. You may go to another extreme, which is all matter. The sort of view that life's made of lifetrons, and every lifetron is a thought of God, a spark of the divine, and that the universe is made up with lifetrons in number beyond imagination. You may feel it's all coordinated by, or is the mind of God, even. I think any one of those sort of structures of belief are still consistent with the notion of a fundamental harmony between what counts. It might just be people in your mind, that people have fundamental needs, for food, warmth, shelter, clothing, company, fellowship, family, children, purpose for living. their vision of God. It was said at the weekend retreat I was at that in some sense the understanding of God ties the knot. And the lady Kavita who was talking was thinking very much that the knot is God tying the fellowship between each of us and if you like, binding us together in good fashion by, or possibly if I take it further, our common needs and so on. That it's because we've got these needs in common, I would say, that fundamentally when we seek our God, we end up with a fellowship. A very good and excellent fellowship. Perhaps one that is perfect in terms of heaven. And fellowship with our God, which becomes the God, is the God. Okay, that's starting to make it fellowship. Sorry, starting to make it a theology, a religious view. I'm not utterly certain what theology we end up with, simply devoted to our God. But I think because we have common needs, we end up with, I don't mean a common God, but the same God. I don't mean quite the same view of God, but values that are incredibly consistent with one another, so that although we have a different view, the views are harmoniously blending with each other's views, and that between us we make up a composite view of God that's far more complete. And it's a view we have because we share each other's views, not excluding different views and therefore being alone in our worship. But we share different views. I not only understand God from my direct perspective and experience, understand my God, but in loving you, which is what I'm drawn to, because I'm drawn to fellowship and family and wanting children and so on, in loving you, I also share your view of God. I could see it from your perspective. So my view of God now is far richer. You could say, well, they're not quite consistent. Well, they can be consistent without being the same. You know, I may well find, and I think I do because your needs are very similar to mine, that your view of God has the same values as mine. So that your view and my view are harmonious together, even though different. And it's the difference that enables me to see a composite picture of the God that I would otherwise only narrowly see from one angle, one perspective, my own direct, immediate experience, excluding that through the love and kindness and understanding of your view. And so do you see that fellowship is fundamental to a full view of God? It shouldn't be a thing that chokes and stifles individuality, that we all have a common view. One is, it wouldn't be true. The common view is not your personal experience of God. And two is, it would leave you in loneliness, even if you had just that common view, because when you met others, you'd only be talking to clones like yourself. In other words, it wouldn't enrich your experience. You'd just be repeating the things that you feel and believe and know anyway. And that's not life. That's not the fullness of who God is. So it's not too long. I made a break here. So this is part A, and part B is in the next recording. Thank you, Dad.